Hello again guys, what is up and welcome to another top 10 with me, Dan the Games Man. So this week we're going to be talking about probably the best selling Nintendo console of all time, the Wii. So a little bit of history to begin with. The Wii was released back in 2006 and it was a follow-on to Nintendo's popular GameCube. It came out at the same time as the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and while it was nowhere near as powerful as these consoles, it did manage to sell over 100 million consoles. One of the main reasons I think it was so popular was the ease of use of the consoles. Gone with a complicated joypad, and you simply had the Wii remote and the nunchuck. So games like Wii Sports could be played by simply flailing your arms around or just using these, and I think it made it a lot more accessible, and games like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resorts really brought gaming to the whole family. I was quite late in the game buying a Wii console. This is a console I got back, and I'd like to say about 2010 when it dropped in price quite significantly. By that time, they had a really massive library of games. So now we're going to delve into my top 10 games for the Wii. As always with these top 10s, I know they're really subjective, so there's probably be some games in here that are quite surprising to you, and some you think I might have missed. But as I said, this is my list and the 10 games that mean the most to me or hold a special memory, and just the games I really enjoy for the Wii. I really enjoy doing these lists. It's always great fun to go back and look through a catalogue of games. I've got just over 100 games for the Wii, and it was really fun going back, playing some of these games today and seeing if they stand the test of time. So here we go, 10 games, no specific order, let's get on it. The first game I want to talk about is Samba D. So this was originally an arcade game which was then ported to the Dreamcast, and in 2008 finally made its way onto the Wii. This is a great party game, especially because of the controllers, which are a little bit special. So this is the reason why this game is so incredible. It literally comes with a pair of plastic maracas. So in the game you have spots up here, to the side and down below you have to shake them in time with. The Wii remote slips in here. This is a great game, especially after a couple of drinks, really gets you in the party mood. I'm really surprised Samba D Amigo never made a comeback. I think it could really work well with something like the Oculus Rift or PlayStation VR, but who knows. If anyone's listening, I made the idea, feel free to send checks my way. Next up is Resident Evil, the Umbrella Chronicles. So, I don't know if I've said before in my videos, I'm a massive fan of Resident Evil. I've pretty much played every one of the games in the ever-growing saga, and this is one of my favourite ones, especially as it's a light gun game. This is very similar to normal light gun games, except you have a bit more of a free movement, using the Wii Zapper or the nunchuck and the Wii remote. This game is set during the events of Resident Evil 0, 1 and 3, and really gets you involved with the story. It's a really good game and really fills in a bit of history in the Resident Evil franchise. The Wii also had Darkside Chronicles, another Resident Evil light gun game. Both of these were both ported onto the PlayStation 3 later on, but I think they're really good on the Wii. I do probably prefer the Darkside Chronicles just a bit, but it is cool playing the Umbrella Chronicles as it does go back over the events of Resident Evil 2, which is one of my favourite Resident Evil games of all time. As you all know, I'm a massive fan of light gun games, and I think Wii has some of the very best light gun games out there. Next up is Red Steel, which was actually one of the very first games released for the Wii console. At a time when there was mainly games that were aimed towards the younger generation, this one was a bit of a fresh air in a starting up console. This game really mixed it up well, having swords and guns as your main weapons. You can kind of switch between them on the fly, and it used the motion controls to really make you feel like you were fighting with a sword or with a gun. This game did come out very early in the Wii cycle. I don't think developers have quite got used to the motion controls at that point. Its sequel was a little bit better and it did use the Motion Control Plus, but I kind of prefer this one. It was the first one I played. It was a real breath of fresh air. Next game is Dead Space Extraction, another light gun game, and also one of the more mature games on the Wii console. As we all know, the Wii was kind of marketed a little bit more towards the younger generation. This game is one of the few games for the Wii that actually got an 18 certificate, and when you play it, it's not surprising. It's gory, it's violent, and most of all, it's absolutely terrifying. This game was also re-released on the PlayStation 3 as part of Dead Space 2 Collector's Edition. Personally, I think this is one of the scariest games on the Wii. Has some really good jump scare moments. It's really tense. I would really recommend it, especially if you're looking for more mature Wii-based games. As you all know by now, I love light gun games, and House of the Dead is one of my very favourite light gun games of all time. So this next pick was really difficult. The question was I going to go with House of the Dead 2 and 3 or House of the Dead Overkill? House of the Dead was always a big hit in arcades, but House of the Dead Overkill was the first one you could only play in the comfort of your own home. This was another game that was rated 18 for the Wii, And there is a very, very good reason for that. The amount of language in this game is absurd. I think for the length of the game, it uses the F word the most times of any game ever created. Word of advice, this game is violent, it is crude, it is rude, and the ending is damn right disturbing. Seriously, go and look up the ending of this game on YouTube and come back to me and tell you that is not going to stick in your head for the rest of all time. It is beyond weird. The House of the Dead Overkill also had its signature guns made for the game. So these were light guns where you could put the Wii remotes in the top, and these were the House of the Dead Overkill hand cannons. In a bit of a running theme, this game was also ported onto the PlayStation 3 at a later date. It could be played with the PlayStation Move. Probably if you want to go back and play this game today, I'd recommend playing on the PlayStation 3, just it looks a bit better on a big HD TV, but this one came first and as all would have a special place in my heart. Ghost Squad was originally an arcade game released by Sega, which they later ported onto the Wii so you could play it in the comfort of your own home. It utilised the Wii Zapper so you could shoot enemies, defuse bombs and detain hostages. Control systems really worked well, and also an advantage in the arcade you could have 2 players, but at home using the Wii you could have up to 4 players. This is still today a really good light gun game. Just kind of think of the Time Crisis games and you're on the right path. A really good game, especially as it uses the Wii. I couldn't do a Wii list without talking about No More Heroes. I always try and bring this game up as a hidden gem, as it's one no one should miss out on the opportunity to play. This is a game by Grasshopper Manufacturer and Suda51, and if you've played any of his other games, such as Lollipop Chainsaw, then you'll realise these are all very special games indeed. These are just really, really stylised games. This game is so cool. You use a lightsaber to try and become the #1 killer in the world. But it's not just all killing. You have to make money so you can afford to get into the next fight. This could be by picking up trash, mowing lawns, all those kind of general everyday jobs that we hate are made fun by this game. Of course, the bosses are the best thing about this game, and they are all as strange and fantastic as you'd imagine. I don't want to spoil it, but you're not going to put this one down until you become the #1 assassin. The next game on the list has a very special place in my heart, as this was the game that finally convinced me that I needed to have a Wii. Mad World is a game made by Sega and is also another one of the very few games on Wii that has an 18 certificate. But trust me, this one is super violent. In Mad World, you play as Jack, contestant in the world's deadliest game show. You have to kill as stylishly and as quickly as possible if you want to win and be top of the game. To say this game would be violent would be a severe understatement. One of Jack's arms has been replaced with a chainsaw, and you can use tyres, signposts, anything around you as a weapon. There's even a mini game where you use people as darts to throw into a dartboard. The graphics in this game are one of the things that really make it stand apart. It is literally black and white, and the only other colour is red. For the blood, and trust me, there is a lot of blood in this game, and also a lot of swearing, mainly thanks to the commentating team. One of the things that makes this game really hilarious is the commentary. One of the commentators is voiced by John DiMaggio, as you'll all know from Futurama and many other programmes, but in this one he is really allowed to let loose. There is a lot of swearing, there is some incredible crudeness, but it's just the perfect commentary for you to carve your way through the competition. So you're probably wondering why there's not many Nintendo games in this list. Well, as I said, these lists are very subjective, but the last one I want to talk about is Mario Kart for the Wii. One of the best Mario Karts of all time, in my humble opinion. There was so many people playing this back in the day. When the Wii was at its height, everyone was getting good at this game and it got really competitive. And this game, as you know, with friends, is one of the best multiplayer games you can have. With over 30 courses in the game, it had a really good mix of classic tracks and some brand new ones, and I think really brought some of the now classic tracks into the game. You could of course play with just the Wii controller, but I always found it a lot more better to slip that Wii controller into one of these steering wheels and use this to steer and the trigger on the back to fire your weapons. Such a good game in multiplayer, that's why I still to this day have a set of 4 of these ready in case anyone wants to come around and race. There we are then guys, my 10 favourite games for the Wii console. I think it's one of those consoles that gets a little bit overlooked. It was absolutely full of shovelware, but if you dig a little bit deeper, there were some real hidden gems in there. As I said at the start of the video, I have over 100 Wii games, but let me know, is there a hidden gem of a Wii game you think I might not have played as yet, or you just want the world to know about? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below on what games you'd have put in your top 10. I'm sure there's going to be some really good arguments in the comments below about my picks. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Remember to click below and leave a comment on what you'd like to see on the next top 10. And also to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any more great video game content. Also, follow me on Facebook at Dan the Games Man, Instagram at Dan the Games Man. Have a great day, and remember, keep playing the game.